Hello and welcome to episode 21 of our Timberborn Update 6 Waterbeavers playthrough here in cycle 21, day 18, 5.6 days remaining in this bad tide. Let's immediately hit pause, because I'm pretty sure there's some stuff I forgot to do at the end of last episode, because we were so excited about how well things went. But I was reminded that this irrigation lodge is paused, and it needs to not be paused, so it is entirely likely this will become contaminated before this can be supplied. It is not prioritized by haulers, so yeah, just getting that out of the way right now. We already know this is going to happen. We don't need to dwell on it, but I am going to try to get that to fix itself. This one is looking good. This one is also looking good. This one up here has been fine. This one's been turned on, and everything else seems to be doing pretty okay. We have, of course, this floodgate dam here ready to go. And we took care of this last episode along with a whole bunch of other stuff. So as long as we don't have badwater coming through here, this is all going to be very nicely usable space. So we're going to do a little bit of stuff to try to fix that in the near future. But I am most proud of this being taken care of last episode. Of course, the floodgate dam is not yet built. But all of these lotuses, and if we choose to plant rice over here again, will be good to go. So I just want to make sure that there's nothing else that I have to take care of before I unpause this, because I do not want to make any more stupid mistakes. So I think we're okay. Someone left a comment about this, and I wanted to make sure that stuff wasn't going to go super terribly. So unpaused. Again, I fully expect this to be terrible, and it is what it is. But they'll take care of it. Like I said, last episode went really, really well. Very, very pleased with the progress. And today's goal, since we have that finally taken care of, and we're in a really good position currently with food and water, I think now is the time to go ahead and get ahead with food production. We got a couple places in here now that this is a little bit better protected that would be pretty good food farms. And we have a couple of other things we can do to fix nagging issues. And because of how this is set up, and because of a couple of really helpful comments, we have learned that it is going to be possible to take out a couple of these pieces of dirt here, and then all of this water, good or bad, will flow this way, and this is no longer going to need to be a thing. We could even dynamite probably most of this out and get a little bit more space, and we can connect this area through here, so this will be nice and clean for the next, not bad tide, and then after that point it won't be a problem. But we have some space over here that we can access to get to the ruins as long as we get rid of some blockages. There's never going to be any fluid flowing on these, so we can easily take that one out, and we can take that one out, which will give us access here and here, and then also here once this one gets removed. And that's going to allow us to put in some dynamite here. We have 5 pieces. And if I go ahead, and I'm not going to place it down because they're going to try to put it in, and I don't want to cause any accidents just in case something does go wrong. But these are the 4 pieces we're going to get rid of. We don't have to worry about the waterfall limit because we have all these edges here, and water can flow through, according to you guys in the comments, the water source blocks. So this will actually be the same level as these blocks here, and we have these 3 edges, which will give us a maximum flow of 6.6, and this only needs 4. So that is going to be the plan for eventually once we get there. Right now, just going to let them do what they've got to do, continue working on what they're working on, and we're going to make a concerted effort to get more food going so we don't ever have a crisis like that ever again. We can actually focus on playing the game. There's a lot of exhausted beavers too because somebody didn't reduce the working hours, but that's taken care of now. They can all go to bed very, very shortly. Go ahead and triple speed that, let them, do what they want to do. And it looks like, wow, okay. This actually got saved. I'm glad that worked. Very nice. So we have a lot of lotus flowers, which are being used to make stuff in the cooking house. They're not really being brought over here properly because, again, we don't have enough haulers. Eventually, Waterbeavers do have access to bots to work as haulers, but this is very, very, very far in the future, buried behind a couple things from the ENS, which we will get to at some point. But that's just how it's going here. We do have this scavenger flag that can now be reactivated, so we can get this scrap metal. And then there's a couple other spots as well, and then we can come up here if we ever get ladders unlocked and take care of that. Or depending on how crazy we want to be, I can just stack these platforms like this, but I'm not going to get into that quite yet. So, that is where we find ourselves. I previously discussed putting in a farm here. I don't think that's going to be necessary anymore because now we have all of this space that's never going to be dirty ever again. So if we can find a couple of locations that are going to be basically always irrigated, which should be most of this, provided, you know, everything else is totally fine. I don't think they can pump out enough water in the next 4 days to completely empty all of this. But it definitely is not something we need to let go completely there. So we're going to pause pump upgrades just to get a couple of jobs back, slow down the pumping a tiny bit. And yeah, actually, you know what? We have free beds. I'm going to, if I can hunt for the P key behind my cup of water here, I'm going to do that so we don't have any more population growth before we can really handle it. And again, slow down some pumping, plus these are a little bit further away from all of this. We have this space here that is great for growing rice, but we do need to solve the problem of the beavers in the farmhouse taking care of these lotuses. And I think really the only reliable way to do that is going to be to prevent them from accessing the lotuses entirely. So we would have to have this set up in such a way where it is either impossible or very, very inconvenient for the beavers working in this and this to be able to get in here. I want to have the large farmhouse because that is a whole lot of harvesting power. It's 8 beavers. And they're going to work on this too if they have the opportunity. I really don't want them to do that. So I think until we get that completely figured out, I'm just not going to worry about the large farmhouse. I'm going to instead prioritize the rice paddy and have them set to plant. And by them, I mean this single beaver. So let's go ahead and get that going because remember, this is going to grow forever at this point. But what we can also do is we can actually move the farmhouse slightly further away from all of this to the point where it is going to be basically impossible for it to get into where all of these are. Which, if I go ahead and put the regular farmhouse here, there's only a few of these it can actually reach, but it's still going to have a whole lot of access to a bunch of rice. So you just put that there, and then give it a brother, and then give it an assistant farmer. Then all of a sudden, you've got 4 beavers that can work on the rice almost just completely continuously, and they're going to have absolutely minimal access to these lotuses. And that means, of course, this farmhouse can go away and more rice can be planted, so on and so forth. I just think that is a smart way to go about doing things. Plus, this is never going to get... Why is the game still paused? This is never going to get polluted again unless something absolutely catastrophic occurs. So now we can continue planting more rice. We can take these blockages away. Not going to be a problem at all. And everything is going to be absolutely perfect. We also have space up here that we can do something with. A couple of suggestions I've received for those. But for the most part, we just got to keep on keeping on with whatever we're doing. Of course, this beaver is able to get at these things now. We already talked about having scrap metal. But there's still other stuff we can access, like up here. Easier with the ladders, of course. But it's not impossible for us to get a path with stairs up here. We just have to have all of these trees cut down. So if we mark this, that is the wrong height. We mark these for cutting. They can come in here and grab all of this stuff. And then we can just wind our way around with the help of some stairs once they can actually get in. This is not really connected perfectly, but we have platforms that will make that a pretty painless process. Just bring that in here. And that should be good. We don't need to have these scrambled log stairs here. So that goes away. These blueberries will be irrigated when it is not poison nastiness coming out of here. So this is just a temporary thing. We can take these away. I'm going to leave these stairs in here, but we can take this path away. And then those blueberry bushes can spread if we want them to. Probably don't need to really get around here until we want to have everything, you know, forcibly moved through here once the water is all nice and clean. And what we're waiting on is scrap metal, mostly. A little bit is tar, but we have the tar already made. We already have logs. They just have to bring it over here. So We already have 56 out of 60 fasteners, and we have 50 in storage. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the primitive ironworks for now so that we can actually use the scrap metal that we're harvesting and producing in here to go toward making our diversion dam here. We talked about it a little bit at the end of last episode, but we don't need to build another floodgate dam over here, so let's go ahead and cancel that. Because if this gets raised all the way up, I'm not dumb enough to do it right now, but if this gets raised all the way up, all the discharge from these is going to go this way. So all we have to do is just lower this for bad water, raise it for good water, and this will be basically taken care of forever. So, yeah, see, they're already trying to take these down. That is super annoying. But, I guess it is what it is. Rice, please, for the love of all that is holy, stop taking all of my stuff away. It is what it is. At this point, I kind of have to just let them do all of that. Unless I want to move the stairs somewhere else, which is going to require taking more stuff away. But hey, whatever. We have all this. It's fine. Just please do something else besides taking these things away, I swear. Ugh, so aggravating. Well, if I'm going to have them access these, and I don't want these guys, then they're going to have to... I'm just not going to worry about it. We already have all of this. It's fine. Totally okay. Let's try to straighten this out just a touch. Not that it really matters that much, but we do have plenty more space for rice that I'm intending to use, so we don't have time or the ability to come in here and mess with that. These guys, of course, have additional space here, but that's going to help a lot. Having plenty of that. Red cabbage is the thing that is basically just to get rid of that icon, so... That goes there. Problem solved. It's not going to be able to grow underwater anyway, so just move on. Alright, so we have 0.8 days. We've pumped out, even though I paused all this stuff, we've pumped out most of the water here. I don't think the rice is going to die in less than a day, so I guess it's just fine that this is the way it is, but still have plenty of other stuff to take care of. We don't need to be worrying about too much. And this rice will always be growing here once we have that taken care of, so again, that is fine. All of this has died wild brambles, so that can be easily harvested by the Wood Felling Planification Lodge once we have that taken care of as well. I am going to turn this back on, just because, you know, we do have to have all the bramble flowers to do a whole bunch of stuff. We just have to let it be what it's going to be. Yeah, this water is about to completely go away. You can see it's already pulled back from some of these things. But no worries. It is only 0.3 days. The bigger problem is that this is not finished, which we already knew that was going to be kind of a problem, but fortunately, all hope is not lost. We have 2.9 days to get enough water in here where these lotuses will stop dying. These have 5.4 days. They are pretty durable. This will be clean water before too long. This will be clean water within about half a day. And then I can lower this again, and that's going to be totally fine. This is just going to have to wait, unfortunately, until all of this stuff is in place. But now that this is clean, we can come over here, and we can put... Well, I guess it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but we can go ahead and put these in place. And since we know nothing is ever going to come up over here, because that is literally impossible, we can just take these blockages out. And on top of that, depending on how we want to work this, we might be able to remove all of these overhangs as well and gain a little bit of buildable space. It all just takes time. So, that looks clean enough. Let's lower this down. Get this water flowing back through here. Hydrate or dihydrate, that is what the kids say, so not to follow the wisdom of children, but we'll just go ahead and get that flowing back in. These are ready to go. Alrighty then. If this is clean, which it is, let's hit B for boom. So what that's going to do, like we said before, is completely change it so only comes out this side, which means that now we can get this area connected. So let's undo this, and I'm going to blast some paths here. We have 31 dynamite. That is too much dynamite. We don't need dynamite. Well, we don't need that much dynamite at least. We can leave that alone. Make sure these guys are hydrated adequately, and they are. Looking good. We've got rice going here. Yeah, we still need... Oh, no, we have everything. Okay. Well, that's exciting then. Come and finish this so that I can actually have all the clean water coming in here. Not that I think it's that big of a deal. Boy, this is the slowest end of construction, isn't it? Alright, so now, clean, all the way up. All that water comes through here, which, yes, is going to go off this edge of the map, but we'll keep this nice and full. And we have all these guys pumping. We probably could have a few more beavers working back at the pumps again, but you know how it goes. Just got to let them do what they've got to do. We do need to get some more beavers, but I don't want to increase the population until this is like extremely squared away. Let's take it out of triple speed. Do a little bit more thinking. Like I said, this is basically like the perfect fix forever, except now this is flooded a little bit because there's more coming through. We could probably fix that, assuming it doesn't break any further, by just putting something here or here. Actually, no, there would be too much. I think it's going to have to be putting in a piece of dynamite, maybe right here, because I don't want it to come off of this edge, and I can't build anything there yet. It is going to kill some of these crops. I don't think they can reach this quite. No, not quite. Let's see. If I put in a platform here, they can build down. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. So I get these things back automatically anyway, so it's not like that's going to be a big deal. Let's get that blockage out of the way. Have this come across here. And that is going to make things just so much easier for us to work with. Infinitely easier. But I'm not really worried about stuff being here. These cabbages are probably going to be fine long term. Still have 400 lotus flowers. We should be making here. Okay, the rice. Yeah, the rice will take a little bit to come back, but that should be okay. Still have a couple days here. I'm not really worried about that going away, but we do need to demolish that. We know we have that going for us. We have to have more sunflower oil, so we do still have screw press axles. It's just an issue of we don't have enough stuff in here, which is, you know, the eternal Waterbeavers problem of your logistics are never sufficient until you get the giant hauling building, which I admittedly don't remember if that still exists in this version. We did have the giant hauling tower and the builder's tower, but it is entirely possible those are gone. I should remember. I should have looked it up, and I did not. Yeah, I don't... Actually, no, we don't have to guess. We have basic village structures, hauling upgrade, science, we have this. Okay. What if I search for tower? Because it was a hauling tower. I think we just have, yeah, pit and ladder lodges, basic village structures. We already knew that. Yep, okay. So they are gone. That is unfortunate. They were kind of majestic buildings, but like I said, is what it is. So, now that this is built, I think I can turn this back on. We have plenty of crude saw blades. We have not rebuilt the sawmill. We still have 200 planks, but we're going to want to fix that problem probably soon before it becomes a larger one. But like I said, we're trying to fix food today as one of the primary goals, and this rice is going to help a whole lot with that. And we need to do something about everything that's being grown in here. This is going to help. Having this either knocked down, get up again, never going to keep you down, etc. Boy, that's a throwback. This is going to help a lot, getting rid of this. I think they have to be on top of these to actually demolish, so probably what's going to have to happen. This is still paused. That's fine. I'm going to remove this piece of path here, and we're going to put in a staircase, which will allow us to come up here, get rid of blockages, get rid of that, 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 and then get rid of saying get rid of that, and come over here where the camera glitched on me, and then this should, I think, solve our flooding issues over here. Hopefully. This is still looking good. Remember, we do want to divert closer to over here eventually, but now that we've solved the most pressing needs with that, I think we are in pretty good shape. We also talked a couple episodes ago about getting rid of these natural overhangs here so we can have more access to stuff. I think that would be a smart choice when we get there. The library can now be unpaused. I feel pretty confident saying that that is a viable thing we can do now. Need to increase our population, or rather decrease the amount of incapacitated beavers, which of course will come in due time. Injured beavers requiring, well, this is the disease one, but we have to add the bramble flowers, which is why I turned this guy back on. So on and so forth. You know the drill. Is what it is. I guess I could go ahead and just, oh, they can't reach that. Never mind. That was pointless. Go ahead and start trying to make some progress toward the tree nursery, which, of course, requires exotic seeds and dirt, but that's going to be probably easier than getting the exotic seeds. We have the balloon. We have a balloon, which, of course, is one of those things that we have to remember how to get to those. We have the stuff to build the balloon trader landing pad. We don't have the science yet, but once this is built, we'll have to build a scouting balloon, and then we'll have to get the scouting points to unlock the folktales, and then we have to have the spicy soda and the methane to trade with them. We already have 228 methane, which is, yeah, that's enough. That's enough to get us a couple of, why did my brain just completely reboot? We need 50 of these. I can do that twice, is what I'm getting at. The exotic seeds to get the recipe unlocked for the tree nursery. This building used to, I think in Update 4, have the requirement for the Bachelors of Agronomy or whatever, which is something the ENS has to have, and we haven't made that yet. Probably should, but that's the biggest hurdle, is having the 50 exotic seeds. You really got to get on that early, or else you're going to be waiting a long time, because 5 of these takes 2.5 days. So really, we're probably going to want to have 4 of these Folktales trade balloon things, which is, of course, going to require we build 4 of the landing pads, probably 5, so we can still have the scouting balloon. Anyway, point being, we got to have some balloons. So let's switch over to balloons, which require paper, tar, and tools. We have tar, we have tools, we have some paper, and we can turn the paper mill back on. I think would be a smart thing for us to do. It's also not connected by paths because I made a bad choice and I disconnected everything so I can put this staircase up here. But that was to connect all of this together with the same set of water wheels, which was a necessity at that time. We also have the option to kind of redo this a little bit. I can't put another water wheel here, but I can put one here that would be in line with this. Could also just, you know, take this water pump out and still have a wheel there if we removed this. But I think what's going to make the most sense, before I take this stairs out, go ahead and remove all of this and build ourselves some power shafts. Remember, this is Update 6. It's not Update 7, so we don't have all this fancy stuff yet. The upward T intersection here is almost perfect for what we're trying to do. There's no universal one with the Waterbeavers, but this is more or less the closest we're going to be able to get. So what is going to have to happen... Actually, I just had an idea. If I blasted this out, I could have this come out and then up. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. There's probably a couple different ways to do it. I'm sure you might have a different idea, but that's what I'm going to do. Let them take care of that while we still have the opportunity to do so. And I suppose... See, I'm trying to keep the jobs down as well. But I suppose I can go ahead and turn this forester back on so we can start planting these. Rice is only 30% done. That's fine. That's fine. This is... Yeah, see, this is going to be so much nicer when this is all completely separated here. We have enough dynamite. I can come in here and blast each of these out. Same deal here. And then the rest of this, they can just reach wherever. This will connect this very nicely. Give us a little bit more farmable space. And then this will be connected as well. Just slow projects. One piece at a time. Got a little bit of scrap metal left here that we can actually access. This is ready to go. Let's hit B for boom. And that should, hopefully, solve this problem. Let's put this on triple speed. It should draw some of this away from this corner. If not, then I made a terrible mistake. That is absolutely going to have consequences. But, okay, good. See? I knew it would solve that problem. with at least 70% certainty. So there's definitely still a little bit of flooding, but it's not this entire thing, and I think that is going to be just fine for our purposes for the near future. Look at all these beef or booms we can do. And I still have 22 pieces of dynamite, which is going to be enough to blast this all the way down and give us a very, very nice expanded area here. Pretty sure. Yeah, see, this is only like 18 pieces. And then I could just blast that out. This doesn't have to have a huge connection, it just has to have some. So I think 4 pieces will be plenty for that. Everything is looking a whole lot better. I know the water level is technically going down. But, tell you what, let's turn on this deep water pump and this deep water pump because these are the faster ones. And we do need to do something about getting all that taken care of. Can anybody actually reach these? I should have checked. Okay, this one can. Okay, so 4 of those left to go in. They already have those, so this shouldn't affect that number at all. I just want to make sure they're actually... Oh, I never unpaused this. That's a... Yikes. Okay, because this already has all the paper it needs, too. Okay, B for boom time. Look at this. Look at all that extra space. Love to see it. So now this can be completely removed with no weeping or gnashing of teeth. And then all of this is very, very easily accessible. This dam probably should still stay here because this is pumping, so on and so forth, but I am feeling pretty good about what we have accomplished here. And this guy can reach the entire thing, so I bet you can't guess what's going to get planted. Actually, not cabbages. I was wrong. Let's unplant those cabbages, unplant those cabbages, and unplant these cabbages. This can all be sunflowers, because those take a long time to grow. But I'll let them pick those up off the ground, and then I will instead... actually... You know, it probably doesn't matter. I'm just gonna plant all this as sunflowers. Or some of this as sunflowers, at the very least. This gather flag does not need to be here. Sunflowers, this is storage for rice. That does not need to... well, this is... It's farmable land. We don't need to be taking that up. So, that... I almost replanted the area I didn't want to replant. Almost. But I'm going to take this, and this out. After this gets removed. I have to say it out loud or I'm going to forget. Because that is, unfortunately, how my brain is wired. But that should end up solving itself, more or less. This guy's all finished, huh? Okay, can't access that. But he can if I give him a platform. So that will help solve that problem. And then he can access this if I give him platforms. So that will help solve that problem. Then we'll get all of that. I have not forgotten about up here, and I know we can also keep putting in additional primitive smelters once we have access to that. Let's B for boom. Now this has to be done in a specific way. I'm going to have upward power shaft here, and then on top of that I'm going to have this power shaft vertical T intersection for 75 science. It's going to be worth doing it this way. Just, you know, trust the process. Put that there. That can get taken care of, and then they did, by the way, pick up all the pieces for the other floodgate. I know that was a topic of discussion, but now all I've got to do... Well, I guess I don't technically have to do it there, but I'll just go ahead. Put that in place, then put my upward shaft there, and then put my downward shaft there. And then I just have to put in the regular water wheel right here. And that's going to help a lot. We can also remove, if we feel like it, that watertight triple lodge there and put it somewhere else. But I think for right now, this is going to be fine. This is only making 140-ish by itself. This other wheel should add a little bit. Then that will be enough to run one of these at a time. But just one. Alright, so So that gets to go away. That gets to get reconnected. And now we have housing for additional 6 beavers, and we have 3 of these guys making paper. Out of all the sawdust, we have a tremendous extra quantity of. Big things happening here. So let's take our last 4 dynamite and get this just like so. And once this is disconnected, this farmhouse should still be able to reach all of this. And it can also reach from around here. That will be totally fine. This can continue getting removed. Not that it is really that big of a deal, but still good to get some progress made there. We are waiting on tar, which we still have enough. But I probably am going to have this switched over. Yeah, we've got so much nitroglycerin we don't need to worry about. Sunflower oil is a concern. I do remember that being a thing. So we just have to have more sunflower seeds. Alright, nobody walk across this. Oh, that's a super highway for beavers. Okay. If I beef or boom all of them at once, there's no chance anybody dies. Good job. And now that just fills in quite nicely. And this guy has no problem reaching all of this, except, well, you know it's a single beaver, so it is what it is. But now we can solve so many problems. So many problems. And all it takes is just a little bit of time. So pop that in there. This guy here has cabbages and mushrooms. We have 500 some cabbages in storage. We should be looking really, really good. And now I need to check on the rest of this stuff. We're making half fermented sake there. There. This also. And then this one is paused for the chestnut beer. We have water. I'm going to turn that back on. That is going to mean I can also turn this distillery back on. And that is going to get us right to about 160 beavers population. We will need to continue expanding food and water production, but we've made a lot of very, very good strides in that. And now we have all of this extra rice, which needs to have somewhere to go. And I don't have any dedicated rice storage. Okay. For now, I know this is not the ideal scenario here, but for now, see, the layout here is not fantastic. Let's just because the space is available, I know it's not like the best way to do this, but just because the space is available, that's where I'm going to stick this for right now. And then we can put in a couple more of these things here, which I suppose probably makes the most sense to go that way. And then have yet another one of these. I bet you can't guess what I'm going to store here. That's right, it's rice. Just to get all that, I'm used to the path being at the very end. So that should help. And then they can make more rice balls and all that other fun stuff they end up doing. Now this is currently paused because I, didn't want to use all the rice for that. Because we needed to make this. But I think we're producing enough rice now I can turn this back on. And yes, we do still have a pretty substantial deficit in workers versus available jobs, but we also have 25 incapacitated beavers. Which, it's just going to take time to get it fixed, but the minor burns with the basic balm can be fixed if we have another alchemist. Which, again, is one of those things that has to be made in the factory, the laboratory glassware. It's going to require quartz, which requires the medium mine, which we don't have the science to research, but we do have everything else. That's a whole fun building all by itself. We'll get there. Making progress. Best we can. You know how this goes. 14 pieces of metal left there. This is still flooded a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. It's looking fine. What's all this on the ground here? Green peas? I don't have green pea storage, do I? I think the answer to that question is no. Hey, why did I not plant anything here? Hey, no. Sunflower time. So green peas go in here. There's so many of these different things for recipes that I just have not made. I'm going to go ahead, first of all, push the wrong button. I'm going to just have some green pea storage if I can remember what these things look like. There we go. It's the soybean icon. And then we also have the long tiny warehouse that is really good for spaces like this. I'm not going to use the science to unlock it right now, but Just letting you know we have access to that. Cabbages, green peas. We also have to have lotus flowers over here, which we do not have a local storage for. Mushrooms, which we do. Rice, which we... Well, we really don't have rice storage? Okay, we have rice storage close enough elsewhere. Lotus flower storage we do not have, so that can go there. That will be fine. That'll help us really speed this up. Of course, there's storage space for 1,100 fried rice, so we don't need to worry about that. These guys are making the braised cabbage that goes in here. I do have a clay pot I can do something with. I think I'm going to go ahead and take this log gnawing station down to 2 beavers, so we can save a little bit in labor. We are using a lot of sawdust, but we're not using that much to where we have to worry about it tremendously. I did say I needed to have more of these sunflowers, but we have planted a lot. We've basically doubled the amount of sunflowers we're growing. And I'm kind of afraid not to have a whole lot of cabbages. They only take 5 days to grow, though, so maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. We do have all this. We're probably fine. Rice is still looking okay. Yeah, I don't think we really have anything to worry about. This needs to be... all of these need to be set to obtain. Okay, this explosive storage doesn't need to be here, but I don't necessarily want to get rid of it yet. Alright, so that has solved a lot of problems, made a whole lot of stuff a whole lot better. I do think if we're pumping out of this, we need to have that pumping separated from all of this storage here. We probably should also be pumping from this deep bit here, but that's not really that good. If I have a dam I put in here, this is the smallest one we can do. So I would have to blow up a little bit. I think I'd have to do... I think I'd have to have that middle part there, so that would actually not be a very good way for us to do it. Unless I took 3 other pieces of land out, I did that. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. We have all the space over here, too, but this is going to be polluted probably more often than not. These guys are fine. Yeah, see, I told them to cut this down, but I actually don't think I have anybody in range who can do it. Let's go ahead. Lumberjack, just put that guy right there, let him get at that. Hey, look at this! Suddenly, our worker vacancy thing is a lot more reasonable. Still gotta do something about those injuries. We've got to get that basic balm going, but I do have to have tar so I can continue making... Why is this still at 0%? I've got all the... Oh, wow, okay, that was dumb. I didn't have anywhere to put the balloons. We wasted all this time for nothing. So this is why I don't like to rush through this stuff, folks. Because it ends up causing problems. I get so excited I have to go do something else. So that is now balloon storage as soon as that gets built. I always forget. Always forget. Well, we have 258 science now because that's working out well. Kimchi is still a problem. I'm going to turn on this fermentation barrel. Of course, we can deprioritize it. Or prioritize it and then deprioritize the job. And they'll just continue doing that. The bramble flowers remain an issue. It is just a slow process. Slowly working our way toward getting the balloons set up. But seeing how we have 600 cabbages, and this is, well, for the time being, not going to be a problem, I think I can pretty safely go ahead and plant these all as sunflowers, except this one that hasn't been picked yet, but it will be soon. We will need to put another irrigation lodge over here, but I think the better thing for us to do is going to be to put a, what's this thing called? Wood felling planification. I love that name. Wood felling planification lodge. Just somewhere over here. It might actually be easiest to put it up on top of this hill, way back here, and then just have a staircase go up this way. We already have the natural stairs there. We already know that was a thing, so if I instead just take this out here. The dead brambles aren't going to spread. They're not going to grow here anyway. Just get that taken care of. This guy now is going to have access to all of this. And once this is cleared a little bit more, I can put some stairs here that's going to get them over here. And that's going to help things out a whole lot. Just need to make sure we have all the materials for this, and it looks like we're good. Planks will need to be a concern at some point, but so far, we're making 244 HP for a demand of 100. And if I turn the factory back on, we're going to have that at, well, it's going to split it evenly between the two, which means each one's going to be at like 2/3 capacity, 70%, something like that. And I do need to continue making anvils if we're going to have any more of these, but I think right now that's probably the only thing we can really do anyway. Can't do this until I have quartz. We already know that's a thing. But if I just hold off on activating the factory again, I think we can save up our scrap metal for some other stuff that's going to be pretty important also. Like, I believe, continuing to build these deep water pumps and then unlocking the upgrades, so on and so forth. It just makes sense to have the best available building that is the most efficient, and that is the intermediary step to getting to the mechanized water pump, which we still cannot support. All in due time. All in due time. And these guys, well, this one guy is doing his best to get us up there. And I think probably the best way to get up there is going to be to do this, and then come down here, and then probably turn a corner here and put that there, but I can't put that there because then you can't get the trees out. And it is what it is. So that is a thing that will just take some time. Got ourselves another sunflower there. Looking good. Food is still hovering pretty nicely around 2,800. All of this, once this fully grows in, is going to look a lot better. The rice situation, especially, has substantially improved. Which is not that one, it's this one. And this is actually full. My rice ball storage is full. Huh? I have 1,000 of those. Wowee. Okay, so remember what I said about the storage here being kind of disorganized? We need to do something about it, and then I was going to blast this down and grow food here. I don't think we need to worry about growing food here, but we do need to worry about making this a better, more usable space. And currently, this is the best we have is the medium warehouse, which can be stacked, but we don't have ladders yet. So just keep that all in mind. It is on my mind, but we have very, very limited options. What I can go ahead and do is just say goodbye to that guy right there. I can put in a platform there, and then I can come back with a medium warehouse that will hold 216 instead of 144 with the same space that was already using. So, there it is. So that will help solve that problem. And then we can do a similar thing over here if the mushrooms can go in a stackable storage. Or, I have not tried this yet, I should have. Okay, bet. That works. Let's go. Then this, of course, holding rice balls. That goes there. And then all of a sudden, it's more rice balls. We should have a tremendous quantity of storage for these guys. I know they don't give a bonus for well-being, but they will keep the beavers alive, and sometimes that's good enough. So just let them do what they got to do there. That will, of course, be a process that does take time. Check in on these guys. All stocked pretty well. These guys making the nasty mushrooms. Full storage on there. We're actually full up. Okay. Now what the heck am I going to do with 261 of these brain-stimulating mushrooms? They're not using them for science production. That's a very good question. Let's check here under consumption. Okay, the only building that's consuming them is this distillery that is now full up on pollution resistance factor. Okay, we need to have a lot more storage of pollution resistance factor, which we actually don't even have a building for. And that does not go in a tank. It goes in a warehouse. So, do I have any spots near any of these where I can store that? Brain boosting salts. I don't have anywhere else to put that, I guess. I really should have planned a little bit better, huh? Well, this is going to have a irrigation contamination across the nation, so on, whatever thing over here. I suppose, since this is currently not usable land, I'll just put a warehouse here. Or we can have 216 of this just kind of stored somewhere else, just so it has somewhere to go. Rice is still looking good. They clean cut a decent portion of all of these things, but we're also not harvesting these, so I'm not worried about it. We haven't really used that many either. I think we're still waiting on a couple of other things. Wait, how is this not... Okay, I can't prioritize everything by haulers. You know how this goes. If everything's prioritized, then nothing is. But, oh, I don't have a rice storage over here. That seems like a problem that I should solve immediately. So... yeah, instead of explosives there, I'm going to have that be rice. That should be a pretty easy thing. And of course, berries. Berries are berries. They're fine. They're probably doing okay. What else? What else? What else? Is there any other land I can reclaim that is actually growable? Probably not, but I'd probably should be growing some more mushrooms. It just seems like the smart thing to do. And I have scaffolding. I know this is all on the crappy platforms. I'm not going to worry about it, but we are really going through logs. And we've got a lot of beavers with burns. Or at least that's the ones that I'm seeing here. The burns. Need that basic balm. Okay. Do I have enough tar? I have 59. I think the construction I was trying to do... just these balloons. I've only got 16, but that's 16 toward the third one. And I got 59 in storage. I think I can justify switching this over to the basic balm now, because we still have quite a bit of time before the rest of these balloons are even started at all. So that should help. Just make a little bit of basic balm here and there. Still need to have some sunflower oil. The screw press axle is not going to last forever. I do know that. These guys are... oh, good. They actually have a couple in reserve ready to go. That is tremendous news. But the water going down is not tremendous news. And in fact, we have some unemployed beavers. So let's go ahead and unpause all of these pump upgrades. Get that going. Paper is nice and full-ish at 250. I'm going to, for the sake of having other stuff, you know, actually working, I'm going to pause the paper mill again, which I know we're, you know, not utilizing any of our power here, but that is going to allow me to come over and turn on a couple of other buildings. Like, remember how we have our single mechanical drill blueprint? That needs to be dealt with, and I have to remember where in the world I had the storage for that. I don't know. Well, regardless, I can turn the copyist lodge and the artist lodge on because I needed to duplicate the oversized water pump blueprint. So I only have 0 of those fancified. That has to have a storage. I understand why this had to change, but I really do miss having the scroll racks in the library, because these are causing some problems. So, balloon trader, fancy landing pad, I don't need. ENS, we really need to research the ENS at some point. Let's see, this is, there we go. Fancy blueprints for that, and then this one is the, that's also a cool building. Come on. Beaver washing machine. I need to build one of those. Okay, what's the other one? Large water wheel we're not worrying about yet. Mechanical, there we go. Mechanical drill, fancy blueprints. These two, again, they will build it eventually when they get around to it. We're not really crushed for time on this yet. But I'll tell you what we are kind of crushed for is pumping capacity. And I need to have more of these deep water pumps and the upgrades. I don't want to spend the science on the upgrade yet. But somebody asked if I can place the normal upgrade on top of the deep water pump. And I had to admit I didn't know. I'm not sure that it's possible based on, you know, looking at this here. And that is unfortunate, because that would have been a really convenient thing for us to do. But I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I do have one more spot here to put a deep water pump, which I think is probably the smartest thing to do. That does use tar, and it does use scrap metal, and the scrap metal is currently all going into metal fasteners, which we actually don't need. So I'm going to pause the primitive ironworks so we stop consuming all of that stuff, and I'm just going to have them go ahead and build another deep water pump right here. Just let them do what they got to do. We got our 4 unemployed beavers. So we already researched mechanical drill blueprints. The recipe for the ENS uses mostly stuff we already have with the exception of spicy sodas. We really need to make sure we have this researched before we need it because it's 16 2/3 of a day. Spicy soda can be made in the cooking house. I do not have another medium cauldron. The medium cauldron is something that can be made in the factory. But we're trying to use our scrap metal for other stuff. This probably should be the next thing we actually make in the factory. But I want to have the scrap metal for this deep water pump. Once that's finished, then I think I can turn this back on and get that going there. Coal is being consumed voraciously. Let's take a look at what is using that. It is literally just the primitive smelter. I didn't think that was that big of a deal. But these guys clearly can't produce it fast enough. 1.7 hours for 1 unit of coal. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. That is also why the medium mine needs to be a thing. But, oh, I have science for this. Okay. That's good news. The bad news is I don't have dynamite to excavate for this. If you're not familiar with the medium mine, I'm going to turn this off so I can actually show you. The medium mine is a really cool building that has to be put in the ground in a very specific shaped hole. So it's exceedingly unlikely there's going to be a place on the map that is a perfect fit for this. We almost always just have to make it ourselves. But we have to blast out basically the entire area inside of that fence line. I believe it's 4 tiles deep. And there's a certain pattern you can do to use only stairs. If you do it with ladders, you can technically, unless this was patched, you can technically squeeze in a couple of storages inside the footprint of this if they're on overhangs. But there is a pattern to descend with stairs. It takes a lot of dynamite that I don't currently have, which is why I'm not building it yet. The Handicrafter's Lodge is currently making balloons, which I do not want to derail. So if we want to, we could go ahead and make another Handicrafter's Lodge. They're very cheap, and have that set to be making dynamite. I just need to have a place to put it. Not a lot of options right now unless I just go right on top of the other Handicrafter's Lodge. See, you gotta be willing to think vertically a little bit. I know this is something I don't do a whole lot of. Oh, I made the ugly here again. I'll get out of there. But if we just have this set to explosives, that's going to be totally fine. And I guess it probably is going to make sense for us to just put a little warehouse for explosives right next door. Which, there we go. That should replace the one that we built, the one that we removed, rather. And let's see. This is not making, oh, because I don't have a storage for the oversized water pump blueprint. Wait, what's it currently? Oh, okay, it's currently using the fancy one. All right. We're good. As soon as I have, like, any amount of these finished, I need to switch this over to the other one. Although we haven't duplicated it yet, the mechanical drill blueprint. Which, if you're not familiar, I can't remember if I've talked about this or not. This goes into the side of a hill. It has to have a 3 tall space, which we are most likely going to have to create ourselves. But it just goes into the side of the hill. It has to be powered. And, oh, that's an updated design that looks really good. But this basically just, well, it drills, and it consumes these drill bits that have to be made in the factory, and it produces waste rock, it produces dirt, and it produces, in this case, coal. The other one produces iron. It's a separate building. Has a degree of difficulty, I think I remember reading. So you can't just, like, switch recipes. But anyway, you have to do something with the waste rock. And you can either store it, or you come over here and you build yourself a trebuchet, where beavers do research on ballistics. Which you and I both know is just, hey, let's put some stuff in a bucket here and see how far we can launch it. That's like the primal urge of any young beaver lad. Just throw stuff with the power of science. And I think beavers will actually get in this. A very, very low chance. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do remember hearing that. And even if that's not true, it's still kind of a fun thing to add to beaver lore. But we will have to build at least one of these to get rid of the waste rocks. It'll do 10 per hour, and it gives you a little bit of science in return. Just a fun thing. So the thought process behind all of the stuff that we've yet to do does have a little bit of a basis to it. These guys here are still getting plenty of these flowers. Still waiting to be able to get the other ones from the folktales. But this guy is well and truly finished. Nothing left to do there. We can build up here. We have the opportunity to do that, or we can take these natural overhangs out, gain a little bit of space here. But this is kind of fun. Kind of fun to have this thing like way up high here. I just have to think of what kind of building might be neat to put upstairs here. Architect's Lodge could be a decent choice, but currently it is serving as some stairs, so I think that's fine to leave it that way. Somebody left a comment saying that we should put in another badwater thing, but this is currently completely full, and I don't think that's going to be that much of a problem. Wait a second. Oh, they haven't built this. Okay, I need to prioritize that. I was about to say, I know I built this. Like what's going on with that? We have basic balm. We have 27, which means... Why is this... Okay, I forgot these have to be prioritized by haulers. Everything has to be prioritized by haulers. And then that'll help with the burns. I have 10 unemployed beavers? How in the heck do I have 10 unemployed beavers? Okay, let's check our variable employment buildings here. Let's see if I can raise anything. Clay pit. Do I have clay? I have 140. That's fine. No need to really have them in there, but I can... If I had dirt, I could pan for gold, which we don't have dirt, but that's fine. See, this is not yet built, so that doesn't have anybody working there. Factory we don't need yet. I don't have the resources to run it. Fluid dump, gather flags, everything else. The large farmhouse that's paused because I don't want to rip out the lotus flowers that we're also not harvesting. I probably should do something about that. When in doubt, library it out, I guess. Make me some science. That just seems like the most logical thing. We don't need the log gnawing stations to have any more beavers in there. Now, 10 of these beavers in the library are going to consume these resources very quickly, and we don't have enough kimchi for that to be a thing, but it does make this go faster when we do have it. 69% of the way through, 3-day production cycle for 36 of those. That's going to go through really quickly. Probably should have a couple more of these, but we don't have enough bramble flowers. We've been through this a whole bunch of times. I don't need to keep rehashing it. But I do see the food is slowly creeping up as the population rises as well, so that is looking pretty good. Fried rice, not empty. Not a huge quantity of that available. Just waiting on everything else to get brought in. I think... Oh, good. That's looking nice. Wood felling planification lodge is planificating. I need to have a space available for a staircase. And it probably makes the most sense for it to be there. I'm just going to go ahead and get them to demolish that. We'll put that back on triple time speed. And we probably should start wrapping this episode up pretty soon. Not every episode I do on this can be super long. So, just try to keep that in mind. Go ahead and bring that there. I'll just put that staircase facing that way. We got a drought coming up. I've got a cabbage I can plant. And then everything else is going to be looking pretty good. I do have to have a place somewhere in here to put that irrigation station. That will do repelling nasty water. And that is going to need to be probably pretty close to right about here. As long as that covers everything, well, most things. Yeah, I'm going to put it in this corner here. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to unplant these. That should help. And then that's where that guy will go. There's still water here. It is what it is. Oh, did I already get... These stupid brambles. I allowed myself to become lost in the process. And now I can't even click on this. There we go. Come and get this thing out of the way so I can, put some stairs here. Please and thank you. Alright, primed and ready. Just get that thing out of here and I'll slap this staircase down. I see him chopping away at top speed. Come on. Come on. Come on. Don't make me a liar. I forgot how long it takes to do this stuff. There we go. Alright, that'll help. We have 2 days before drought. I got 1,200 water. I have 165 beavers. That is not enough. But remember that all of this water will stay here. I do have to close this floodgate dam so it doesn't all flow off the edge of the map, because I have not built anything else here yet. So we do need to keep that in mind. It also means we're going to lose power here for a little bit, so let's go ahead and turn on the paper mill, just so we can make a little bit more paper, because I know we're going to need it. And then this can get turned off when the power stops, just trying to keep ahead of stuff. Okay, rice ball storage is still somehow completely full. I know we didn't add that much capacity, but we're doing what we can. In the process of making explosives, I do have 5 available. What was I going to explode? Oh, that's right. It was over here. Or actually, no, it wasn't over here. What the heck was I going to explode? I don't remember. That's bad. That's real bad. I should be able to remember that. Well, at any rate, I'm unwilling to hold off for like another half an episode to put this in. I just need to do it so we have access to it. I know it's about to be a drought and not a bad tide, but you know, if you let this stuff get away from you, and then bad stuff happens, as we have seen time and time again. So, oh, the water cannons are cool. We haven't gotten to those yet, though. So this guy right here, perfect. Just have that set to repelling. That will keep this irrigated and allow us to, you know, not lose these guys. Hopefully that works. But it is going to use more water, so we will need to increase pumping capacity. We've talked about this, but now I got science because I have all these guys in here, and I think it might, at this point in time, it might be about time to go ahead and get these upgrades in here, because that's not going to increase the population at all. It's just going to increase the amount of... see, this is the part where my brain just shuts off and I know it's time to end the episode. It increases the amount of water we can pump without any additional beavers being born. Mechanized water pump, again, truly the thing we should be doing. But we have to have the science, and we have to have the power, which we're not going to for a little bit of time. This guy, fortunately, is not actually that big, and it does not block any water, so we have an opportunity here to, as long as we can, you know, have something accessible, can actually... This Lucas storage house is closed anyway. Let's see. I could put this guy right here, as long as he could be powered. Where is his power connection? Is that in the middle there? Is that what that is? Yeah, okay, so that goes there. I could put a little tiny water wheel behind it, and it might... It's not going to power it at full speed, but it will actually power something, and that, of course, just gets connected there. I can also replace these. I can move this a little bit. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the best way to go about doing this. This is also paused. So much to think about. I also don't want to create something just obscenely, hideously ugly for no reason. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't need to worry about this. I just have to move this over one block. I didn't even need to have this, I didn't even need to have this set up like this. If I move this over one block, this is still connected, and then I can just put the water pump in this spot right here. And then move this, this thing here, because this is not in a good spot. Oh boy, I love it when I come up with ideas. Like this power is going to matter anyway, because this whole thing is going to be completely gone. Yes, I realize the hilariousness of having this set up this way, but there's basically no other way to do it. This goes away as well. Let's just pick up all this garbage off the ground, because that is our favorite hobby. And that, oh, that's going to be so good, because I'm going to have 500 science before too long. And then, if I could just have this automated and actually supplied with power, we're going to be in good shape. We do have to have the blueprint, but I have 7 of them, which means I can turn this into... what did I already forget what I was doing with this? Mechanical drill blueprints, pretty sure is what I'm looking for. There we go. Get those going. I love it when a plan comes together. We still have 1 day. I thought for a second I had to hurry up and raise this up. That's looking good. Rice is looking good. Again, we're not... We go through these really slowly, these lotus flowers. Okay, go ahead and just get rid of that tank. This whole area needs to be redone, which we will be working toward. Don't worry about that. I know this is just tremendously hideous. Okay, how long? Of course, we're waiting on kimchi. But for science, I need to have another 70, which means I have to have like another 18 of these things. So I just need 18 pieces of kimchi, which we will have in about a day. Okay. Yeah, we can rock with that. They can just come in here and get the rest of these things ready. Half a day here. 1100. I mean, we're not on hard mode, so... I mean, we will need like 2,000, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have enough here where that's going to be a viable thing for us to be working with. So 0.4. Let's go ahead and raise this up to 0.5. So it'll still flow through here. Yeah, so I just don't have anything going through that. Let's just raise it up to 2.0. I know we have all of this coming through here, so that should be enough to keep this filled as the drought starts. This guy is all finished. So thank you very much. I'm not going to delete you quite yet, but we do need to make some room here for everybody else. By everybody else, I mean the rest of these staircases. So that's going to get us up to the top. That's going to get us up to the top. And now we have a 5-day drought. We have all of this water. It is beautiful. It is clean. This is protecting everything. We're in good shape. Very, very good shape. But we do need to get a sawmill built sooner rather than later, and that is, it's an entirely different can of worms. I actually don't remember where the attachment is for that. It is... Oh, yes. I can just put that right there. Oh, I also did the bad thing of using this as a dam without having access to it, which we don't need to be doing. I think, I may have actually kind of screwed myself over not having access to the ladders yet, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. I have enough science to go ahead and unlock the mechanized water pump. There's much rejoicing. Yay. That has to go here, but I can't build it yet because I have to have the thing in place. But I can place it down. I know they're not going to finish it first. But I have to have that done, get that prioritized, and that has to go in place. This will connect absolutely everything. That is, I really hope, going to reach all the way in. I don't think there's anything else I can do. It looks like it's good. We just have to, you know, not have this here. So, how we're going to manage to make this work, I think without having ladders, I'm going to have to blast this piece out, put stairs down, and then they can, you know, just walk through underneath, which is going to be a whole thing. So as long as they get that built, and they get that built before they get that built, we'll be in okay shape. Okay, we're still pumping. They're still building. That's going to be a whole thing that takes time, but it's going to get us in a pretty good spot. I've got all these homeless beavers. I got all these incapacitated, unemployed. Man, we kind of overbuilt a little bit, seems like. 4 days left. Food hasn't improved that much, but I know we've made some tremendous strides for that, so I'm not going to be super worried about it. Still waiting on... Wait, did I turn off the pine resin? I absolutely did. Okay, well that's probably, you know, a lot of what has happened here is I just turned that off. Lumberjack flags get turned back on. Forester gets turned back on. We were very low on logs. How did I not remember to do that? Well, paper mill can be paused. There we go. And now we still have a bunch of homeless beavers, but things are improving. 3.4 days. I really got to be careful this doesn't dry up, but I can't exactly pause houses now, can I? Pause the pump upgrades. I know it's just a tiny, tiny little bit of something, but I guess it counts. Let's, now that that's done, let's blast this out. This has to go away. This is already connected to that. And then that just has to be placed in there. Plank storage can go away. Log storage can go away. We can have better stuff going for that. And then the rudimentary sawmill has to have a space that it can use. That will just go right there. And it is the perfect connection point. I am very happy with how that turned out. Obviously, this cannot power everything. But we're still looking pretty good. So this stairs goes down. This will have to have another staircase going up, which is, it is what it is. 3 days. I really don't want to pump all this water out, but I think it's fine. Gotta have stairs until I have a ladder. I could unlock the spiral staircase. I'm not going to do that yet. See, this is exactly what caused all this ugliness before. I have to have that either here or here. That has to go there. But if this is put here, then that means this can go away, which means that if I put a staircase... Ooh. Yeah, I put a staircase here, then I can have a storage right here. There's nothing in here anyway, so this can instead become a storage for planks. And I could have just kept this as storage for something else, but I'm going to leave this, say... Oh, come on. Right there for logs. You know how it goes. Just let it be what it's going to be. The coal is probably going to be a problem here. But everything else, planks-wise, I do have enough, provided they don't use all the planks to build something that they're not supposed to be doing. Scrap metal, we have enough. Tar, we have, I think, technically enough. We might have to revisit that. That's still working there. Basic balm, I only have 3 of that left, but the burns have, you know, subsided a little bit. Let's go ahead and switch this back over to tar just so we're absolutely certain things are looking okay. I've got 2 balloons. That's exciting. And that was a weird sound. Okay. The tar is being used for the balloons. I always forget. Always forget. I don't see any more paper. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, who's consuming paper? Oh, stop. All right. I love this mod so much. The goods tracing mod. Paper, paper, paper. All right, mechanical drill for the blueprint. We already knew that was a thing. Let's see. Oh, that's the copy sludge icon. Okay, that makes sense. I have 100 paper in with the explosives. I guess. How many pencil sets do I have? I see 0 pencil sets. Okay, well that answers that question. Then we need to change this one over to be making pencil sets. Which still uses paper, but it only uses 50. It also still uses coal. Okay. Alright, now I gotta bust this out to make more coal. Iron-wise, I guess that's fine. This is... Yeah, we have a full iron. Alright. Coal it is. Coal it is. Yeah, so this isn't going to be operating by the end of the episode, which is unfortunate. I'm speaking too fast for my brain to keep up. It's just so exciting. Is that set to the right? There it is. I lost my train of thought, but this should, minus the coal, be just about ready to go. Yeah, I'm liking that. Not a moment too soon, because I need all these planks. You gotta be joking. I need planks to build the... Of course I do. To build the rudimentary sawmill. I should have seen that coming. What's funny is that it just keeps happening to me. Alright, you guys are gnawing on planks now. Enjoy making plank in 10 hours. But I have extra beavers, so now it's 4.2 hours. Alright, we're still looking okay. They can still technically bathe in this. We got 1.3 days. I guess we're doing okay. Not doing tremendous, but we're doing okay. Just get this blown up. Oh, good. There's planks on the ground. Crude sawble. Why are those there? Get that out of here. 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 Don't say that again. Okay, I won't. So... I do need to connect that with a path, and that will solve most of those problems. Staircase does take planks, so maybe I will hold off on building that. What's back here? Oh, there's planks back here. They can't reach this. Okay, so now it's time for us to employ our favorite strategy ever, which is cheesing the plank location. And now they can reach it. Good show. Make sure I don't actually move anything important. There we go. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Now, come and pick up 8 planks here. And this water's gone. We have a day left. Okay, well. Nobody's perfect. We still haven't gone through any of the... I mean, you know, we spent so much time messing with these lotuses, and we still haven't used all of the lotuses that we said we were going to be using. That we said we were going to be so important to have. Alright, lumberjack flag paused. Now we need these scrap gatherers. So, scavenger, I guess, is the correct term. Come over here and do that. Probably would be nice to have a direct connection to, well, anything over here. So, I guess, until I have ladders unlocked, I can go ahead. Stairs here. I could go that way, but that's... I actually can't. Stairs here, stairs here. That gets blown up. That gets blown up. And then stairs go up the rest of the way there. Just more projects for them to work on, I know. But things are looking pretty good. How do I have more coal if this is coal? Clay if this is paused. How does that work? I'm pretty sure I only have 1 clay pit. I do. Where the heck is this clay coming from? Okay, it's 4.6 days. We've got time. I know the food is going down. I know the water is going down. There's nothing left for them to pump. But now we have so much rice. We can keep making rice balls. I don't want to make pumpkin chips. See, I thought I was going to solve all my food problems. It's kind of, to a certain extent, almost unknowable, the process of taking care of all of this. Well, at any rate, this can go back down. We'll get all of this coming through here. This is actually built, which is surprising that that was the thing that was first, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised. That's connected. This is it's waiting on 159 more pieces of coal. Oh boy. Well, at the very least, all of this will survive. The pumping will continue. And the dirty beavers will undirtify themselves, and life will go on. But, I mean, we're growing stuff up here. It's working. It's just slow. So, it is what it is. We're still in good spot with all the food and the water and everything. Just maybe got to optimize a little bit better. We're on track to have 180 beavers, and we definitely need to have some more pumping. But we are working on solutions. And as soon as I have more coal, we're going to be able to put in these deep water pump upgrades, which I do need to research, but I think I might hold off on for now. Water problem will be solved much, much better with the addition of this guy. But I think for right now, it's time to go ahead and say goodbye and end this episode. A healthy hour, 20-something minutes by the time this is all finished. But I really do appreciate you guys watching this video. I know it was really bleak a couple episodes ago. We looked like everything was going to go poorly, but we figured it out. Had some good, helpful suggestions, good, helpful advice. And you guys had the patience to allow me to see it through. So I really do appreciate that. beard boosters, you already know. Make it possible to just keep on doing this stuff. I like playing this game. Like, I think some of you might be concerned that, like, oh, I'm pigeonholed into doing only these of beaver video. Like if I didn't like playing the game, I wouldn't be playing the game. I got so many other things I could do. But I like playing the game. You guys like watching it, and frankly, the videos are performing really well, and I'm able to pay my bills and take care of people who are important to me, and that's what matters. So it's working out great for everybody. We will play other stuff eventually, but right now it's all beaver time, and I'm perfectly, totally okay with that. And if you want to be here, I want you to be here, and that's just how it goes. So, all that being said, this is the end of the video. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Whatever it is you're doing, stay safe, have fun, and we will see you back again soon for more beaver fun. And on Sunday, we got Roller Coaster Tycoon too. See, it's not just beavers. It's just mostly beavers for right now. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.